YouTube, what is going on? It is your boy Russo. As you can read by the title, we will be doing a video on one of the more intriguing prospects of the 2019 draft class, Bol Bol. Bol Bol stands at a staggering 7 foot 2 inches, has a wingspan of 2.34 meters, and he weighs 107 kilos. It is no shock that Bol Bol stands at 7 foot 2 inches, as his dad, Bol, was tied for the tallest ever basketball player in history, tied with George Masson at 7 foot 7. In this video, I'll be talking about the pros and cons of Bol Bol and why potentially he could be a sleeper pick. While his father, Bol, was known as an interior defender, Bol Bol can actually do all of it. He can be a rim protector, he can be a stretch 5, and he can play make like a point guard. Though you think because Bol Bol's 7 foot 2 and he has such long arms, his interior defense might be his best skill, but that could be wrong. In this day and age of the NBA, we all know that you have to shoot the 3 if you want to be a great player. Though Bol Bol's 7 foot 2, he can shoot like a sharpshooter. He shot 13 of 25 in his one season at Oregon. Even though it was a small volume, that's over 50%, which is still great. Bol having the ability to shoot the 3 is a great attribute. In the day and age where we start to see centers shooting the ball, Bol fits right in this era. In his dad's era, they were averaging around 9 threes a game. As the 2019 season came to an end, we saw a record 31 threes attempted a game, and it is an upward trend every year. Bol has also shown a good ability of being a decent playmaker despite being 7 foot 2. He seems to have decent handles, but sometimes he can be a bit sloppy with the ball. If Bol's not blocking shots inside the paint, he'll at least alter the player's shot, as his long reach gives him a huge advantage offensively and defensively. In his 9 games at college before getting an injury, he averaged 21 points, 9.6 rebounds, and an assist, while shooting 52% from 3 on around 2.8 3-point attempts a game. Bol has shown the ability to be a great defender. In his 9 games, he had a defensive rating of 86.7 and an offensive rating of 118.2. Bol's offensive box plus minus was 4.5 and he had a defensive box plus minus of 7.0, making his BPM 11.5, which is great for someone his size and height. Bol also averaged 2.7 blocks a game, which was the most out of all the prospects declared for the draft this year. We have now uncovered the positives about Bol. It is now time to focus on the negatives, as no player is perfect. Fans and pundits alike have questioned Bol's mentality towards games. Sometimes it appears he shows no effort, which is very disappointing to see, especially if a team wants to make him a franchise cornerstone. Bol Bol's also known for setting terrible screens, which once again shows if he really cares about the game or not. Whenever he sets a screen, he normally sets a weak one, causing trouble for the ball handler, as not only doesn't it set up a pick and roll or pick and flare opportunities, but it also stagnates the offense as a whole. As you can see in this clip, Bol tries to set a screen for his point guard, but Trey Jones goes through so easily he gets the steal. Here's another example, Bol trying to set a screen and trying to create a pick and flare opportunity, but once again the screen is so weak it just doesn't have any offensive flow to it. As you can see in this clip, the offensive down in disarray and don't know what to do. Bol receives the ball and he chucks up a wild 3 just a brick. Which brings us to the next flaw of his game, sometimes his IQ for shots. In this clip, we see Bol demanding the ball and trying to create his own shot to no avail, just to chuck up a contested mid-range. So, as you can see, sometimes for an intriguing prospect he is, his decision making isn't always the best. Once again you see in this clip a terrible screen, gets his own rebound, and puts up another dumb shot. So Bol sometimes has to be patient with the shots and trust in his teammates a bit more. Once again, proving that he sometimes doesn't have a passion for the game and just wants to chuck up shots. As you see, they're a terrible shot. Not all tall players are great post players, and Bol is just sadly one of those other players that doesn't have a distinguished post game yet. In the clip here, he's trying to get post up on his man, but once again he fumbles the ball and now he's trying to create his own shot, chucks up a wild hook, no good. Here we have him trying to get another post up, he's trying to drop step and he misses again, gets his own board, puts it up again. So once again, Bol just has to be patient with the shots and trust in his teammates more. In this clip, we see him try and get post up position on Charles Bassey, who isn't a terrible post defender. The teammates give him the ball and Bol just chucks up a stupid pass. So So Bol's decision making, it can be very worrying for scouts. It might not piss a lot of people off, like fans, but scouts, they really take this stuff seriously. They look at the little things like decision making, screen setting, and all that. This is another clip showing Bol Bol's commitment to the game. As we see here, he has no pick and roll defense, lets him go for a layup, he passes out, but look at Bol, leaves his man wide open for a layup. He has no help defense, and once again scouts will look at that stuff very closely. Bol Bol is still a very raw prospect at the age of 19. He also shines that he's still immature. He reportedly skipped games and skipped training in high school, and it just shows that he has no passion for the game. Also here, no defense on that alley-oop pass. Transition defense, he also struggles here as he lets the points guy's man get all the way to the rim. While I said before Bol can be a good shot blocker and a good at altering shots, his post defense is still very questionable. As we see here, Charles Bassett gets him in the air and draws the foul on. Despite all the negatives, Bol has still such great upside to him. A 7-footer being able to shoot threes and block shots so easily is still a great asset to have, and he'll be looked very closely by all scouts. At the start of the college season, Bol was often regarded as a top 5 prospect with the likes of Romeo Langford, Cam Reddish, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett. Since then, a few players have dropped out and a few players have came in like Darius Garland, Ja Morant, and Bol would still probably be a top 5 prospect, but the one thing that haunts him are his terrible injuries. Since Bol is 7'2" and is very skiddy and has no muscle, injuries will always be a major concern for him. It's often known the more tall and skinny you are, the more likely you are to be injury prone. And unfortunately that looks like what it will be for Bol Bol, which is such a shame because if he was injury free he would be easily top 5 pick in this draft. His mock drafts from different scouts have gone all over the place. Some have him projected as late as a first round pick, others have got him top 10 pick, and others got like a mid maybe 12 to 20 pick. Personally, I think he's a late lottery pick and I reckon he's a high risk, high reward. Obviously if he's too injury prone you just can't do nothing about that and you can consider him a bust, but if he's not injury prone he'd obviously be one of the steals of the draft for sure. I think Bol Bol will either go to 12, 13, 14, which is Hornets, Miami and Boston Celtics respectively. Charlotte seem to love their shooting big men as you see them with Frank Kaminsky. The Heat would love a center to pair with Bam Adebayo or Hassan Whiteside as the power forward, preferably Bam I would imagine. And Boston Celtics, since they're already an elite team, that's if Kyrie stays, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to take a punt on someone that was once projected as top 5 pick. Anyways guys, that is it for me. If you made it this far, be sure to comment where you draft Bol Bol in the draft. I'm looking forward to seeing the upcoming season, hoping Bol can stay healthy, because God willing if he's healthy, he will be an all first team, all rookie for sure. Also be sure to sub, because I'll be dropping more college videos like this as the draft gets closer and closer. Thanks again fellas, see you later. Peace.